Good morning and welcome to our live talk program. This is Lurgup here, your host on Revive Reform Radio, doing our live talk program covering wisdom for living on this here Friday morning, Rise and Shine. And this morning here, we're looking at the topic literally flattering you to death. Literally flatter you to death is what we're looking at here this morning. And we're looking at Proverbs chapter 27, verse 4 through 6. So literally flattering you or flatter you to death. This is what we're looking at here. So welcome again to our live talk program. Hopefully you had a blessed night rest, and thanks for joining me here this morning as we talk about wisdom for living, as we make our life choices. Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, I thank you again for the blessings of your word, for the blessings, dear Lord, of the truth that you laid here for us to be able to learn and know how to move and have our being. And may you bless us, dear Lord, as we study these things. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. So here we're looking at Proverbs chapter 27, verse 4 through Proverbs chapter 27, verse 4 through 6. And we're looking again at this topic here, which is flatter to death. Flattered to death. And this is what we're looking at here. So I'm going to start as usual by reading Proverbs chapter 27, verse 4 through 6, our focal point here. And it says here, wrath is cruel, anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. All right, so that's Proverbs chapter 27, verse 4 through 6. So this idea here, very important. In this life, it's sometimes difficult to know who is looking out for your best interest. That's just the part of the reality of life. Sometimes it's difficult to know who is looking out for your best interest. And one of the wisdom that we have to develop as we get on in life, and that can help us a lot, is knowing who is in your best interest. Knowing who is playing games with you and who is serious and who is for you. If you don't know this, life can be very difficult for you because it can be confusing. You can't tell when a person is faking it. And when they're faking friendship with you, when they're looking out for your best interest. And this is why so many, I believe, die at a young age, because real young in life, they can't tell who is for the best. And those who are for the best, I think it's against them. And those who is against them, I think it's for them. And why this is so is because of this idea here of flattery or flatter. When a person flatters somebody or give them flattery, it is excessive. I guess I'll read the meaning of the word, which is lavish, insincere praise or compliment upon someone, especially to further one's own interest. So that's what flattery is. A person will lavish on a person, will give excessive praise to a person. And the aim of the flattery is not to speak what is truth for the person or about the person, but it's primarily to deceive the person for the person who is given the flattery best interest, for their to advance their interest. They're just looking out for themselves. And this is important because in relationships, in business, in religion, in all these things, flattery is powerful. You know, there's a way that I always notice when people are preaching false doctrine, they flatter the people who are hearing them. They say to them, look, you're receiving this. This is like some secret stuff that only the righteous can receive. Only God's very elect can receive. It's just a bunch of craziness. On its surface, it's nonsense. And it's so ridiculous that it almost you have to believe it's true because it's so way out there. But people who are naive, they fall for that flattery or don't understand flattery. Also, the thought here can be that a person can assume that flattery it has to always be one-to-one. You could have mass flattery. You could have a group of people in a church, 10,000 people. Group of people in a stadium, 70,000 people. and the person who is speaking can make them feel special and deceive them and make fools out of them, but with flattery, with saying certain phrases and certain things to make them feel I'm special, while literally flatter you to death. Literally, it's almost like somebody not just flattering but beating you to death, but telling you this is good for you, and then you die. So here I use this, but here the Bible now in Proverbs 27 verse 4 through 6 uses various different ways to communicate this idea that one has to be very careful of those that have a kind of a secret agenda, right? So those three verses here communicate to my mind like a secret agenda, but it's not very clear. Now, verse 4 says, wrath is cruel, anger is outrageous. So something that's outrageous, you can see it. Poof, it's just right there in front of you. A person get mad with you. Well, they're mad with you. You don't have to guess. When a person is mad with you, you don't have to like, I wonder what's their emotional state right now. It is clear. A person that's cruel, okay, they hit you hard. And they just didn't tap you, they hit you. And you're like, man, that was wicked. You know exactly where they're at. There's no secret with it. Doesn't mean it's good. It just mean, there's no secret. Somebody being outrageous against you or having rage because they're angry with you. It's not a positive thing. But you know where they're at. But the Bible says, who is able to stand before envy? Because with envy, you don't know where the person is at. You're going to find out one day. And it might be too late. But you don't know. Because the person is not saying anything. If a person see you with something and they're watching you, but you don't know what they're watching you. You don't know that they're not for you. And then they come over and say, oh man, I like that thing that you have. Blah, 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 blah. They start to say positive thing to you. You don't know what's going on in the mind, because for all intents and purposes, they could be like 30 seconds away from pulling a gun and grab it and say, give me that stuff. But you don't know, because at that point, they're just complimenting. But you don't know what's in their heart. So this is where that idea, that secret, because the person has an hidden agenda. And whatever they're saying because probably they want to pull information. They want to know what your movement's like. What are you about? Where you go? Because that's going to be the way they make their move. So that's the problem there. And if you're growing up in life and you're not aware that this is part of the reality, then you're going to get whipped and beaten, and life's going to be hard because you have a kind of open arms, thinking everybody that comes across your path, God lead them in your life. And so they must stay in your life. And there's some people that as fast as they come in your life is as fast as they need to leave. But you might hold on, not knowing that no, the devil is busy. Notice verse 5 again. It says, open rebuke is better than secret love. You see, if a person come and tell me something and tell me to my face, I could get offended because I'm like, man, this person just told me. They didn't flatter me now. Because notice here, they didn't flatter me. It's rebuke. They didn't come and say something pretty to me. They say to me, man, that haircut you have looks terrible. Another person come and be like, oh yeah, that haircut you have looks nice. But really the haircut is terrible. Right? And I had to get offended because the person told me the haircut looked terrible. So again, open rebuke is better than secret love. Now, what secret love to me is this. Say I'm in trouble. Man, I'm either down on my luck, I made a bad choice, or somebody don't like me and they're going after me. I'm being persecuted, I'm being hated upon. And somebody that's my friend, or somebody that is for me, didn't say nothing. They quiet. They quiet. They don't say nothing. They don't come out and defend me. That's secret love. Now, you make you wonder, do they really love you? because that secret, they don't make it be known. So somebody come down and say, hey, this guy over here is no good. And the person who love me, that think I'm good, go quiet. And somebody heard the person says, this guy is no good, in the presence of somebody that's supposed to be my friend, that's supposed to love me. It would be better. It's better to have open rebuke. Notice again, it's that hidden agenda. Whether even if it's love. So to say this is not purely tongue-in-cheek talk. Say the statement is literal, the person really love you, but the person never say anything. It's better. It is better if that person would openly just even tell me right in front of others something wrong with me, than to quietly keep their love for me secret. Notice here, it's better to be open, even if it's not positive. And notice in verse 6, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So faithful are the wounds of a friend, or the wounds of a friend, all right? But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Notice here again, there's this concept here of an hidden agenda, right? Because a better friend even do you bad, so to speak, but the person is for you. This person is for you. And that says this here, a friend shouldn't be trying to do you bad. But it's better a friend say something to you and it might hurt a little bit, but it's your friend. Friend is saying it, and it's saying it for your best interest. And you might be hurt over it, but I'm caught up what my friend said, but it's faithful. The person is faithful. The person is going to look out for my interest, because when you have friends, your friends is supposed to tell you, hey man, you have a rice grain in the top of your head. How did that rice grain get in the top of your head? And I'm like, I don't know how it flipped up there, but it's up there. Then a person who is the enemy look at you and say, oh no, you look beautiful today, while laughing at you because you look silly. So notice here, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. And every time I read that, I often think about Judas, betrayed the Lord with a kiss. So you think, oh man, he loved Jesus. And so somebody was standing there, oh man, Judas loved the Lord so much. But it is this concept here that the person is not for you. The person want to take you out. And often this is what it is. You have people, I always hear this with young people. They say, man, even like I never even heard pastor preaching, and I'm thinking, such silliness. Where they'll say, in the streets, those guys like in the gangs, they look out for each other and stuff like that. Well, no, they're selfish little brats that will sell their community out. They'll betray everybody so that they can make money doing whatever. And normally you find 99 or more percent of them, when they get grabbed by the police or the feds, they start to rat everybody out. And most of them are rats. But sure, you could think somebody's for you because they hug you, they shake your hand, they even kiss you. They'll seem like they'll give the shirt off the back for you per se when things are good, when I have 100 shirts. But when I'm down to the count, they sell out. And what a young person don't often think is that most people, as they get older, they lose their friends that they had when they were young. But they never stop to ask. But they'll think they're going to sell out God, sell out people who are for them, but they're not going to hold back sometime, and they're going to tell them what they need to tell them. And they think their friends that they have fun with, listen to music with, play video games with, they are friends. Because we just having fun. Of course, we're playing some basketball together. It might seem like these people are for you. But how often you will see a person who is not really a true friend, don't really know what true love is, will basically aid and abet a criminal. They will watch you make the worst decision and say, I'm for you, man. That to me is the worst type of situation, because that to me is the concept of secular friendships. The person seeing you going on a certain road and basically say they're for you. I'm always going to be for you. Man, I don't need you to be for me. Well, I need you to tell me to stop. But normally a person will tell a person to stop, especially a younger person. They see it as basically wounds, but they don't see the person as a friend. They think the people who are for them are the people who are secular and bopping their heads to music. They see the person that will give them some cocaine or some marijuana as their true friend. You try it one day. If it's three of you hanging, especially young, you're younger, three people hanging out, and two smoke weed or two smoke cigarette and one don't, I guarantee as the friendship develop or time moves on, the two that smoke weed or marijuana, 97% of the time will become closer friends because they have something in common. And the two of them could watch each other destroy each other and just mess up their lives. And the two of them are best of buddies. And so this is where the Bible differs. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Because a true friend is going to look out for your best interest. But somebody could be looking out for your interest, but they're looking for your interest because they need a companion to take drugs with them. And in your mind, and in my mind, this is the deception. And this is the deception for most of life. We talk about deception. Most deceptions are not doctrinal or theological deception. Most deception come from this point of view. You don't know who to trust. I guarantee most people think they're deceived, but they don't understand is they can't trust. They don't know. They think because a person has the same last name or the same type of blood, blood is thicker than water, the same family, in other words, that person is for them. Some of your worst enemies are people in your own household. That's what Christ says. Some of your worst enemies are people that is in your family. But a person could think, oh, they're family. Many families keep each other in the doghouse house, so to speak. They keep each other wordless. And if a friend come along now, somebody's really like the person in spite of their faults, and they like them and try to lead them in a certain path, the other family members will do everything, or their older friends will do everything to kill that relationship because they want them in a certain wordlessness. So the person can literally flatter you to death. So the question that is often can't be figured out, as I say, it's one of the most difficult things I think it is for a young adult. Worse for even adults, because there's adults. Why it's worse is because it doesn't never go away, this issue of can't figure out who's the best for you, who's looking out for you. But I think as one get older and the person can't figure it out, it seems more terrible. See, if you deal with somebody that's 22 years old and they can't figure out who's looking out for them, who are the best people to hang around, it's bad. But they can do 10 years of beatdown as long as they don't die in the midst of that. And they learn through hard knocks, and you hope they'll learn. But when you have now somebody now in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they still can't figure it out, you're like, wow, they're still dumb to the idea who is their best friend, who is looking out for the best interest. And so it's worse then, because you realize they didn't learn it in their 20s. They didn't learn it in their 30s. They might never learn it. And it's one of the most powerful things. So somebody say, well, why other things are not more important? Because again, if you have a preacher and the preacher is preaching to you and you can't figure out that person is not in your best interest, you could have learned all the math, English, science. You could study psychology and get a PhD. You could study whatever. But that one thing, not understanding who is your true friend, who really loves you. How do you know a person loves you and looking out for you? It will dog you for the rest of your life. This is so powerful and so important It's unreal. If you can't figure out who is flattering you and who is looking out for your best interest, you're gonna be a mess. Because often in life you're gonna face with two choices. Somebody come to you and flattering you, and somebody come to you and tell you that don't look good. That's not right. And if you can't figure out who is your friend, and I've dealt with so many people, especially because I'm in church relationships and in societal relationships, I deal with so many people who can't figure it out. There's so many examples I have. I'll give you an example. Say it's a young girl and she's wearing one of those low ride skinny jeans or something like that, and she have muffin tops, so the right near a bowel area or colon intestine area. I don't know where it was called, but the fat of meat, the fat on the two sides of the stomach, the front part is hanging over, and she want to wear something that's short on the top, and then she's wearing that type of jeans. One friend come to her and said, "That looks beautiful. You look awesome. All the guys are gonna be like coming your way." And another friend come and said, "Man, that looks terrible. I wouldn't wear that. That extra fat is just hanging out there. It looks terrible." Who is she gonna go with? Most of the time, that person gonna go with the person say you look awesome. Especially if they add to that the guys are gonna come tearing down that skinny jeans, tearing it off you. Oh man, that's what you want to hear. Now, that's where the problem is, because the person who is there looking out for their best interest is the person telling me don't look good. But the person who's flattering them is who they're gonna go with, because it sounds, oh really, oh man, I've been so single for so long. Finally, I found a solution to help me not being single anymore, and I'm gonna put that on. And the person who told them it looked great is probably behind a door or see them somewhere and just killing themselves a laugh. Killing themselves a laugh. That's why, but the kisses of an enemy is deceitful. And this is where one has to learn how to discern the voice. You see, you got to learn how to discern the voice. And this is even a problem with the Bible. Because when you read the Bible, it can be very difficult to deal with God, because God doesn't flatter. God doesn't play you like a fool. But we think about the devil, the whole concept with the devil from day one. And as I've said, this is not so easy, because the concept with the devil from day one was that the devil tricked up even the angels. He wasn't real. He had lost his high estate, and he became a deceiver, and they couldn't pick it up. They were like innocents. He wasn't innocent anymore, but they were innocent. And this is the biggest thing. And I've often wondered why 3/3 of the angel didn't fall for it. Because if you've never dealt with a con man, and the first time you run into a con man, that can blow you away. Because a con man is overly kissy, uggy, silver tongue, say all the right things. They love more. It's like you're talking, like I'm describing a drug dealer, but literally in any business, whether it be business, investments, health, a person is a slick person. They're silver tongue, they're smooth talker, they're fast talking. They will get you all the time, because guess what happens? It's not facts and figures. It's they're playing a game. I'm sure if you've been in church long enough, you've heard about this thing called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. Most pastors, if not all, are taught that, how to program people. And what many people believe they hear in is sermon, and not sermon, is neuro-linguistic programming. It is basically get you to acknowledge that you're supposed to be a follower, and you're supposed to believe in what the preacher is saying, but I'm programming you. I'm hypnotizing you, in other words. I'm sending subliminal messages to hit your subconscious, and then you agree. But whatever the person is preaching is not what they're talking about. The sermon is just a vehicle to control the mind. And even in Adventism, there's people who are followed that people don't understand that's not facts and figures they're preaching. They're preaching programming. People even present truth who are trained it from seminary, but they probably went independent. And they're very famous, but they're not preaching sermon. They're preaching classical trained programming to hypnotize people. So because they don't, what it is, they spend most of the time saying, look at those people over there, they're bad. Look at me over here, I'm good. Follow me. Not follow me on my merits. Follow me because I'm telling you they're bad. But I'm telling, in other words, when I tell you they're bad, it's automatic and I'm telling you I'm good. You need to follow me. It's just all these type of methodology. So it's subtle, because it's, remember, the Bible says that the devil deceived Eve through subtlety. He's dropping a hint. He's saying to her, you shall be as God. Will you surely die? Which is one of the most confusing statements you could read in the Bible. Because is he questioning that she's going to die? Or he's telling her that she won't die? It's hard to figure out. It's subtlety. Person's playing a game. They don't talk straight. Smooth talkers don't talk straight. It is, like they always say about lawyers. How do you know when a lawyer's lying when his mouth is moving? Because the way things are answered, it's not very clear. You listen to politicians, when you ask them a question, it's just a few minutes later you're like, I'm not sure. Did he answer the question? And he's gone off on a tangent. And then now somebody who's an interviewer is supposed to be trained to hold his feet to the fire. And somebody said, well, sometimes it could be harassment. And sometimes it could just be the person just honestly trying to get an answer. So it's that subtlety. And when you understand that subtlety, you can see why most people will be lost, not to me based upon the fact that they were deceived theologically. I think this is one of the mistakes we've made. We have put a lot of emphasis just on right doctrine, wrong doctrine. But often the devil don't come to you and just tell you a lie straight up. And it's just so clear for a lie. It's through subtlety. And people get pulled away into subtle nuances. And that's where the problem is. And so if you don't know this and you don't understand, like as I say, 1/3 of the angels fell for it because imagine in their innocency, that double speak, that talking in circle, that coming over overtly loving you. Because you ever think about it, when you go to, like I've been to churches where they're promoting no law, no judging, no making righteous decisions, just love everybody. And it can feel on the surface like it seems more loving, but you realize it's helping people to destroy themselves. It's telling a person, you made a mistake, there's no go and sin no more. Like what Christ said to the woman that was caught in adultery. It is, don't let them judge you. They do the part what Christ do, which is, we shouldn't be so hard on a person that makes a mistake, but they take it another step. Or they don't take it the next step. They don't say, don't go and sin anymore. They just say, come here, let me lick your wounds. And let me tell you the bad people who are telling you that you didn't do right. And then the person goes and do it again. And then they say, no, come back. We'll lick your wounds more. And the person goes and do it again. And they say, no, come back. We love you. They don't love you, but we love you. But imagine now a friend come by and say, you need to repent. And you need to stop that. And somebody come and say, don't listen to that person. Let me kiss you right here. And that is powerful. And I see it over and over again. And I don't know if I've ever seen it. Rarely have I seen it where the person goes with the faithful friend. most of the time the person will go with those who are licking the womb, and they're done at that point, because now they start a path, and they're gonna constantly go down the road, and year in year out they're just making fool of themselves, and you can't talk to them because in their mind, oh, you're judging me. And this is where that becomes so tricky. You're judging me. And as I say, you watch a person, everything under the mouth, oh, we can't judge. Oh, we can't judge. Oh, we can't judge. And the Bible described them silly, ever learning but never coming to the knowledge of truth. Because there's a certain point where, yeah, everybody needs mercy, but mercy doesn't mean you need to continue wallowing in pig pen. So wrath is cruel, because when a person is enraged or wrathful, you know, it's clear. Anger is outrageous. Wow. Because, when a person is outrageous, they're over the top. But who is able to stand before envy? Now, the Bible used the word their envy in King James Version, or translate whatever that word is. But the various translation use the word jealousy. Because when a person is jealous, their action against you, often you can't tell. Their action is tricky, if that makes sense. How are you going to tell? You're not going to be able to tell because the person's action is covered, because the jealousy is an internal act. Now, you might be able to find out after a while, because the person might, in their jealousy, go say something to somebody that loves you. And that person come to you and say, you know what such and such is doing? Or what such and such said to me that they're doing? And you now have to still trust that person to know that person is saying to you, they're not just trying to carry tales. They're not gossipers, as I cover, I think it was last week. But they're literally looking out for your best interest. And that's tricky, because I've seen people in trouble, and somebody who they think is for them is knifing them in the back. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. Because I know that person, if I say something to them, they could say, well, I'm trying to gossip, and I'm just trying to rescue them. And that's what's funny about all the time certain statements in the Bible, because you shouldn't gossip. But what if somebody's poisoning somebody, and you took that secret, the secret poison of the person, and tell the person, say, hey, look, John is poisoning you. John could look at you and say, brother, you gossiping. And you'd be like, okay, sorry, go ahead and drink. Drink away, John, because you're an idiot. And that's just the reality. It's tough, because I've been there. You say something to somebody, because you'll be like, man, this person is going to kill this person. And the person like, oh no, you're against me. This person is for me because they're poisoning me. Look, they always feed me. And I'm like, yeah, you're 400 pounds. You need to make them stop feeding you. So you're getting bloated. So if you notice here, jealousy is dangerous, because jealousy is sometimes by the time you find out, it's too late. Or sometimes you don't find out because you're dead. Because the person doesn't clarify or don't say it, they cover it. And they cover it oftentimes by being your biggest fan. And that's why I always, when I look at the news and I see certain news with people who are famous, I don't even know who they are. Many times I don't, until they make the news. And then I'll go in the comment section and I see how their fans eat them alive. And why they're eating them just before they eat them, with whatever statement they're going to say, they make sure to say, I was the biggest fan of such and such. And then they go ahead and start to munch on them. And the way they munch on them, you're thinking, man, that's cruel. Because human beings are sinners. People make the mistake. You don't excuse people's sin, nor do you approve the sin. But you realize, even though you disagree with certain actions, we're still sinners. All of us down here just struggling, trying to find our way. But people will eat you up if you make a mistake. But now, see a friend come by and say, hey man, you messed up, but I'm still your friend. I need not to go down that path again. Another person come by and say, hey man, you're the best, man. Don't ignore those people. Just keep on, keep it on. Keep on, keep it on. A person will all the time go with a person and say, keep on, keep it on. Flattery is terrible. So who is able to stand before jealousy? Because at least when a person is angry and getting outrageous or cruel, you can back them down. You can either plead for them to come to sanity, or you can try to hold them and try to console them and calm them down. You've seen it. Somebody ready to fight or ready to do damage, and a friend calm them down. But a person who is jealous now, they're sneaky because they don't make you know they're angry. And they just walk up next to somebody and just start stabbing them. You don't know. Think about how many people who done mass murders. Most of them it's you can see they have an issue. They're incel. They're depressed. They feel nobody loves them. They can't form relationships. But you don't know. And when they just go into somewhere where people are happy, they go to a mall and they go to the food court, because that's where they want to take out, because they can't go to the food court and be happy. They go to a church, they go to a concert. But all this time, you didn't know that they were like that. And then they start shooting. And then they start the investigation after the bodies have piled up and the hospital beds are full. And they start finding out that this person had some serious jealousies, some serious envies, because they were living a certain lifestyle. So how do you calm that down? You can't calm down what you don't know exists, because it's in the person's heart. Notice again, hope and rebuke is better than secret love. As I say, I've been in a situation, I'm sure you've been in a situation, where those you think were for you were quiet while you're being mauled. They secretly loved you. And they'd be like, man, I prefer to wrong the people that openly just tell me, man, you're wrong, man. I'm like, man, thanks. And somebody like never say anything. And when I'm in trouble, just go quiet. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy is deceitful. Now in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 9 through 13. Isaiah 30, verse 9 through 13. Now this is talking about Israel, and this is where the problem became for Israel. Because Israel came to a point where everybody was lying to everybody. That's a problem. Big problem. Everybody lying to the other person. Nobody's telling the truth, because people don't want to hear the truth. You have a problem. It's good for somebody to tell you you have a problem. This wasn't happening in Israel anymore. Everybody went quiet and started lying to their neighbor. And it seemed like the people wanted it that way. Notice here that this is a rebellious people. Lying children. Children that will not hear the law of God. So there you have it, just to begin. Lying children. They're not hear the law of God. Because the law of God will tell you, you're wrong. But imagine if you don't want to hear that. What you want to hear? Verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not. And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceit. Get out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore, thus says the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay therein, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. This is where, as I said, the rubber meet the road. Even my presentation, most of the time it takes me a while to get to that point. It's the stay therein. You see what it is when we get stuck. That's where the problem is. You know, all of sin and come short of the glory of God. But when you get stuck in an iniquity or a sin, and iniquity is basically you're stuck in a sin, you need some help. You need some friends around. You need some people looking out for your best interests. Because when you get stuck, that's where the problem is. And we don't want to get stuck in sin and stay therein. Because when we get stuck in sin and stay therein, we need a friend. We need a friend that's taking closer than a brother. We need somebody to not kiss us and say, you're all right. Let's tuck you in and put you to bed tonight. No, we need to stay up here and talk. Because this is not right. this is going to affect you in all aspects of your life. Let's talk about it. And that's the faithful wounds of a friend. But somebody will say, oh no, no. I don't want to hear that. Nobody complains to me about this behavior. You're the only person, because I love you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't complain to you about this behavior. This behavior is a problem. You need to put that bottle down. Oh yeah, no, but I go to the bar, and the guys at the bar, they're drunks. That's why they're too drinking. They're not gonna tell you that you have this problem. You know, I remember years back I was dealing with somebody, and I dealt with them about something, and they said, I don't have this problem. I don't have this problem at work. I only have the problem when I come to you and come to church. I'm like, really? Then I remember a few months later, the person say, the person say, I have the problem at my church, I have the problem at home, and I have the problem at work. So I'm like, okay, that's what I thought. If I'm seeing this, and I'm dealing with you most of the time, once a week, and this is just a blaring problem, how are you going to tell me that this problem is not at work and not at home? You crazy. You think I'm saying this because I don't love you? I'm saying this because I love you. I'm your friend. But the person like, no, you could. At first, no. Then no. I'm having this problem at work also, and I'm having this problem later on. I'm having this problem at home also. Yeah, it's dogging me, right? But see, so faithful are the wounds of a friend. But at the time when I said it, I was the person's enemy. Like almost I felt a person would want me dead, because I say such a thing like that. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, this has to be a bigger problem, because I'm seeing it. It's too, and it's not a minor issue that, let's ignore it. It's a major issue. But somebody's going to flatter you. Somebody's going to tell you, oh no, you're fine. People will say that to you all the time. Oh no, you're fine. Or they won't say anything to you, but behind your back, this person have a problem. And like, oh no, they think I'm the best. Yeah, you're the best. You're right. So it's this idea here that you don't want to be in that literal flattering situation. And sometimes people just say, they'll quietly see you doing something and they don't say nothing to you. But your friend is supposed to say something to you, because that's what a friend does. So notice in verse 10 again, it says, see to the prophets, prophesy not. I should say, see, they say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not to us right things. So I don't want to hear nothing. Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit, lie to us. So here, part of the problem is the people want it so. It's not just the leaders who are doing it. And this is where, over the years, I've had a problem where people spend all their time talking about the church and the leadership. Because when you're in the church, you realize really quickly that when a strong leader or a leader who is moral and moral courage preach, the people start complaining because they don't want to hear it. So it is not just the leaders, and this is why I'd preached before in the past, that when God punished Israel, when David counted the people, God didn't kill David, God killed the people. And the people wanted it so. As a matter of fact, you can see this right now going on in even our country. It's the people who want a certain type of leadership. So when bad things happen because of that leadership, it's the people that need to be punished because they voted that way. This is what they want. They encouraged that. They came out in big numbers to support evil and darkness, just pure devilment and wickedness. And so who needs to be punished? The people. This is what they want. And that's just that's the fair thing to do, because that's what they want. That's what they voted for. They voted for evil, they get evil. Because others are supposed to get the evil, but they're getting the evil who voted for it, because that's what it's supposed to be. You almost want the person to win more so that more evil come. Because that's the only way people will learn their lesson. And you'll see that in verse 13 in a second again. It says, get out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Who's asking that? It's the people. When you get this, you understand what's happening. It's not, see, most of our focus is on the what the leaders are doing. So the leader will ultimately make the decision, but you know when things are going to fall apart or when things are going to go wrong when the people does it. One thing I love and find fascinating about even the United States that is unique to probably all countries on the earth is this idea that it's a government by the people for the people. It is here where polling numbers dictate most of the time or percent of the time what the leaders vote for in their constituency. Whoever is their voting bloc, they polled out that voting bloc, and if the people say this is what we want, they vote that way. And if they decide that they're not going to vote the way the people want, they decide to retire. They step out of office because they know they're not going to get voted back in because that's not what the people want. The leadership reflects the people's choice. You know, they would say this is the people's choice. So when the leader votes, he's voting although he's one vote, he's voting for thousands or millions of people. So it's fair now that whatever he votes for, if God is not happy with it, the punishment come back to the people. It's logical. We're going to see this in verse 13. Verse 12 says, "Wherefore, thus says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression, perverseness, and stay therein." You can see when the Democrats in power, they start to say what the people want is gay marriage, gay rights, gay this, gay this, gay that. You know, this is what they want. They want perversion. And they want to shut up any voice that will speak against a perversion. When you get into the Republican, what they want is hate for minorities. So they vote for whoever will vote that way at the higher office. So they want to oppress and they want to, cause others to suffer who are less fortunate. So when the beatdown comes in the various disasters and stuff like that, it's they work for it. You reap what you sow. It's a logical thing. But you can't talk to people like that because normally what it is they want to be flattered that they're on the right path. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you a breach ready to fall, swelling out in high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. If say you deal with two people, flip, A and B is say if I can say this real fast because of the sake of time. I'm gonna get you a few more texts. Say I come to you and I'm white and you're black, and then another person come to you, they're black, yeah, and you're whatever I said you are, you're black, and I'm white, but I love you, and I'm gonna tell you what's best for you. I'm gonna be fair with you. Another person is black now that's talking to you, but say they're preaching black liberational theology that won't work. They're gonna mess you up more. But they're flattering you and they're saying, I'm for you because I'm black. Who you gonna listen to? I'm gonna tell you, most people, they're gonna listen to the person who is gonna flatter them and tell them, hey, look, man, I'm for you, man. We won. We won. And that person's life is not doing nothing. And that person gonna mess you up. But we for you, man. We tight. We brethren. And the person who's white over here could love you to bits, as they say. Love you. Probably that's not the best way to say it, but love you. Just love you. And just want to look out for your best interest. But you're going to listen to the person who is flattering you and you're susceptible to their flattery. Now, the flip is inverse, which I've seen also, where if I'm black, you're white, and the person white talking to you, this person is flattering you and going to trip you up. I'm telling you what's right for you. You're going to listen to the person that's white, because what it is, that person is going to flatter you with, oh no, we special. We the same. We whatever. Don't listen to him, listen to me. And this is why that deception, because that's why I notice who is poisoning Appalachia with all the drugs. Poisoning places like Seattle and Maine. Places that are normally you call white bastions. It's the same white doctors. Same white pharmaceutical owners But if I come along and say, no, 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 you need to stop listening to those people, stop taking their drugs. Those people gonna be like, we don't want your type around here, and so you're stuck because flattery is making a person think something that is not real. Because in my life when I was growing up, I was just thought human beings are, it's just human beings. You got to know who to trust. I was never thought, well, you trust this person because they're from the same nationality or the same skin color or the same zip code or post office. You trust them based upon if they're trustworthy. But when you get into this mindset now where people say you trust a person based upon nationality or based upon skin color, you look the world over, you can't trust people who from your same town. You gotta trust people based upon their proving their trust. But when a person is told all their life that you trust this person because of the color of their skin or because of the zip code, wow, you're set up for deceive. You're a fool. You're just gonna get whipped and beaten in life because you're gonna find that human beings has to be trusted based upon your individual experience with them, not based upon any outward characteristic, because you don't know what's going on inside a person's heart, and the only way to know what's going on inside a person's heart is when they open their mouth or by their actions. Is that so? Somebody say, "Oh no, Lord, you're wrong." it's it's those who are my race. That's who I trust. Okay, you probably have a one step ahead because at least you know that person is you eliminate some stuff. I'm not saying those things don't matter altogether because I'm not foolish. If you're dealing with somebody and you have a person and their person is from, Uzbekistan, if hopefully I'm saying that right, or they're from Tajikistan, and possibly if they have a choice, they're gonna do better for the person who is from their country. But if that was the case, other countries would progress because look how many countries they sell out their own fellow human beings all the time for money. They don't care. They probably just sell out their fellow human being less than they sell out me. They sell me out more. But I don't mean that people are not sell out. You trust people based upon if they're proven. More I could say on that. But that's one of those topics it's hard to talk because I probably shouldn't talk it. Because I'm not from around here, so to speak. So in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 12 and 13, it says, "Yea, all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." So all who will live godly will suffer persecution. So one thing is for certain, when you're a Christian, you gotta get over that flattery thing. And don't make people flatter you literally to death. Because when you're living righteous, people are not for you. That's just the reality. The Bible doesn't say some people who live righteous will suffer persecution. You have now another issue to deal with. So if I'm just in the world, I have to deal with what every secular person have to deal with. I have to deal with people hate and jealousies and prejudices and dislikes and classism and all these type of isms. Okay. But then now because I'm a Christian, I have one more thing to contend with. That makes it now that I have to be a little bit more careful. Because people will be jealous, people will backbite you, people will flatter you and betray you and persecute you because you're a Christian. You have another thing. Now, the flip of that though, is that I've found Christianity and certain levels of dealings that I deal make it better for me. Because then it quickly eliminates hypocrites. All right? It can be negative because you say, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to have less friends. Well, as I say, most secular people die lonely and friendless. So just get that out of your head. Young people have a lot of friends, and as they get older, the friends drop off. Because you find most of them are hypocrites and backstabbers. But when you're a Christian, you eliminate a whole bunch of people. Because number one, you can party with them and stuff like that. So let's take down the list now. Just as human being, you're going to deal with these things where people flatter you. But you're going to get rid of the flatterers when you become a Christian. Because all those unconverted, ungodly people start pulling away. So you eliminate a lot of those people. then you say no, you don't eat a certain way because you eat a plant-based diet. Less people want to be around you. But now, even for me now, since now I'm leading out and I'm part of a independent church, I eliminate a whole bunch of hypocrites. It is a phenomenal thing how that works, because they automatically, in their mind, prejudicing against you. They're saying, well, you must be false because you're not part of the mainline denomination. Yeah, you keep going, keep moving on, and you eliminate that. Because what it is, think about Christ. Because I often thought about this with Christ, that Christ had Judas, 1 out of 12. Most people in their life, they have 11 Judas and one friend. And in their mind, they think all 12 people are their friends. And one by one, they're gonna have a lot of knives left in the back by Judases. Christ, on the other hand, flipped the script. He had one Judas and 11 disciples. And so why? Because Christ was walking a very narrow walk. And the more narrow the walk is the more the hypocrites like, I ain't going to do that. And Judas was the only one. And when persecution break out, you still eliminate the problem. Because remember with Ananias and Sapphira, they were trying to pull a fast one. They were real, you see, but the Lord strike them down. Ellen G. White says the Lord eliminated by that way a lot of the hypocrites. When they saw that, they became fearful. And he says it protected the church. So sometimes, when you make certain tough moves, certain people are not for you. They're only going to be for you if it's good time. You eliminate them. They drop off because they be like, I ain't going nowhere. Good. Get out of here. Because that's what it is. You want to eliminate and cut down. Remember when Christ was healing and preaching and started his ministry, thousands follow him. The more he preached a tough message, he more preach a cutting message. By the time he get to Matthew 23 and onwards, his followers, he ended up after his death, 120 in the upper room. He went from thousands to only a few. And in your life, you're going to find out when you start to figure out who is flattering you and who is a friend that will wound you, but is faithful wound. They're doing it because they're faithful to you. They're better than a dog. They stick it closer to you than a dog. You're going to find that a lot of the hypocrites, you're going to start seeing they have no value. Because when you're down, they're not for you. Proverbs 23, verse 1 through 7. Proverbs 23, verse 1 through 7 says, where are you seated? Oh, this is the text to talk about where you sit and eat it with a ruler. And at the end there, it says, verse 7, it says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so he is. Eat and drink, said he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. See, a person could say, oh yeah, come over to my house, eat and drink. But they're not with you. Every bite you take, them like, oh, he's eating my money. But when you have somebody that's for you, man, come on, man. My food is your food. I'm with you. But you see, that person will flatter you and you'll think, whatever the Bible says, if you give it the appetite, cut your throat. Put a knife to your throat, because that's what's going to happen. You're killing yourself. You got to know in this life who is just running their mouth and who is for you. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of time when you're back against a wall, you see people, they don't even call you. They couldn't care less about you. And that's what I realized. A lot of these people, they're in these things and they think, oh, I'm in a mainline church, they're for me. Get sick. Fall out of fashion. Fall away a little bit. Or hard. They couldn't care less for you. And then you realize, what's the point? And that's the point. You got to know this. You got to know who's for you. Who has your back. And you got to know who's stabbing in your back. Even though they're flattering you and they're playing a game with you. Because if you don't, I'm going to tell you, this life is always going to be hard. You're always going to be deceived. Because you don't know. You don't know who is real. You don't know how to test who is real and who is fake. You got to know this. So literally, some people is flattering you to death. Live, don't die. Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, again for your wisdom, your mercy. We thank you, dear Lord, for giving us the way, dear Lord, to live and not die, and that you may continue sending your spirit, that we may be able to discern the thoughts and characters of men by your word, that we might know who is fake and who is for real. Bless us, we pray, by thy grace, for Christ's sake. Amen. Thanks for being with me here again on Revive Reform Radio. Looking forward to talking to you again live Monday morning, where we should do our live talk covering motivation. Until then, I pray that you may continue walk with the King.